The old Blackwood estate loomed over the town of Heavenwood like a skeletal hand reaching from the grave. Locals whispered stories of the Merrick family, who had vanished decades ago, leaving behind nothing but dust and an unsettling air of dread. Sarah, a young history student with a morbid curiosity, arrived in Heavenwood determined to uncover the truth behind the Merrick's disappearance. She rented a small, dilapidated cottage on the outskirts of town, the closest accommodation to Blackwood's overgrown gates. The cottage itself was a study in neglect, filled with the scent of mildew and decay. Sarah, however, found the atmosphere invigorating. She spent her days poring over town records, interviewing the few remaining residents who remembered the Merricks, and, of course, venturing closer and closer to the Blackwood estate. Most villagers warned her away, repeating the same chilling phrase, "Leave Blackwood be. Some doors are best left unopened." Old Man Hemlock, the town's oldest resident and self-proclaimed historian, told Sarah the most unsettling tale. He spoke of a man, a hollow man, who haunted the Blackwood estate, a figure with no face, only an empty void where features should be. This hollow man, Hemlock claimed, was the cause of the Merrick's demise, a supernatural entity that fed on their fear and drove them to madness. Sarah, a pragmatist at heart, dismissed Hemlock's story as the ramblings of a senile old man. Yet, the image of a faceless figure lingered in her mind, a chilling seed planted in fertile ground. Driven by academic ambition and a growing sense of unease, Sarah finally decided to trespass onto the Blackwood estate. The gates, rusted and groaning, swung open with a sinister invitation. The long, winding driveway was choked with weeds, and the house itself was a Gothic monstrosity, its windows like vacant eyes staring into the soul. As Sarah approached the front door, a bone-chilling wind swept through the trees, carrying with it a whisper that sounded like her name. Inside, the house was a time capsule of decay. Dust covered every surface, portraits hung crookedly on the walls, and cupboards draped like ghostly shrouds. Sarah explored the main rooms, finding evidence of a life abruptly abandoned, half-finished meals, clothes strewn across the floor, and children's toys scattered in a corner. In the library, she discovered a hidden chamber behind a bookshelf. Inside, she found a collection of occult books and strange artifacts, evidence that the Merricks had dabbled in dark arts. At the center of the room was a mirror, its glass blackened and cracked. As Sarah gazed into its depths, she saw a fleeting image of a figure standing behind her, a figure with no face. Panic seized her. Sarah whirled around, but there was nothing there. She stumbled back, her heart pounding in her chest. She had to get out. As she fled through the house, the temperature plummeted. Shadows danced in the corners of her eyes, and she heard the soft whisper of voices, beckoning her to stay. She burst out of the house and ran, not stopping until she reached the safety of her cottage. At night, Sarah couldn't sleep. Every creak of the cottage, every rustle of leaves outside her window, sounded like the approach of the hollow man. She tossed and turned, plagued by nightmares of faceless figures and endless voids. In the morning, she awoke to find her cottage door standing open. A cold wind swept through the room, and a sense of utter dread filled the air. Determined to confront her fears, Sarah returned to Blackwood. This time, she was armed with a crucifix and a camera, tools she hoped would protect her from whatever lurked within. She ventured back into the hidden chamber, drawn to the blackened mirror. As she stared into its depths, the image of the hollow man reappeared, clearer and more menacing than before. This time, the figure stepped out of the mirror, solidifying into a terrifying presence. The hollow man was tall and gaunt, draped in tattered black robes. But it was his face, or rather, the lack thereof, that was truly horrifying. Where features should have been, there was only an empty void, a swirling vortex of darkness that seemed to suck the light from the room. The hollow man extended a still little hand towards Sarah, and a voice, hollow and devoid of emotion, echoed in her mind. "Join us. Become one of us." Sarah screamed and stumbled back, dropping her crucifix. She grabbed her camera and frantically snapped a picture of the hollow man, hoping to capture its image and prove its existence. But when the flash illuminated the figure, it did not reflect back. It was absorbed, like light falling into a black hole. The hollow man lunged, his touch icy and paralyzing. Sarah closed her eyes, bracing for the end. When she opened them, she was back in her cottage, lying in her bed. The sun streamed through the windows, and the air was warm and still. Had it all been a dream? Sarah looked around, searching for any sign of the hollow man, and she saw it. Hanging on her wall was the photograph she had taken in the Blackwood estate. In the image, she stood in the hidden chamber, her face contorted in terror. But behind her, where the hollow man should have been, there was only empty space, a void where the figure had stood. And where Sarah's face should have been, there was nothing. Her face was gone, replaced by the same swirling vortex of darkness that had defined the hollow man. Sarah had become one of them, a hollow man of Blackwood Forest, forever trapped between the world of the living and the realm of the damned. Avonwood gained a new ghost to whisper about, and Blackwood claimed another soul.